Hey, what's going on, guys? I just want to say what you guys are going to see before you guys see it. This is going to cover what I like to call Season 1 of What If Goku Mastered Kaioken. I say Season 1 because this is all of Dragon Ball Z, and I could do Super in the future. So yeah, I put them all together just for you guys, and I hope you guys really enjoy them. One cool thing about this is, since this is my first What If on this channel, through all 5 parts, you guys will see me slowly improve in editing. Part 1 is kind of untouched, so it still has my intro, just for nostalgic purposes. And that was still when I was in the awkward stage of starting out, so please don't cook me too badly over Part 1. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys later. We start off with Goku's sacrifice. We all know he wouldn't be dead for long, but in his death he's met by Kami, who tells him to traverse Snake Way and meet the great mentor King Kai. After 177 days of traversing Snake Way, Goku does end up in fact meeting King Kai. King Kai asks him to tell him a joke. Goku does, he gets him to laugh, and they eventually start training. Now this is where things start to change a bit. King Kai does still trust Goku and he starts teaching him the Kaioken, but when offered if he wants some of the Spirit Bomb, Goku says no. When questioned, Goku tells King Kai he's going to face his biggest challenge yet, so he'd prefer to master one technique instead of going in with 2 techniques that he doesn't know or have a full grasp of. So yeah, no Spirit Bomb. You know, the Spirit Bomb's one of my favorite moves, so it's kind of sucks to say goodbye to it, but who knows, maybe we'll see it again sometime. After some months of intense training, the Saiyans have arrived. The Z Fighters are squaring off against the Saiyans, and might I add, not doing too well against them. After the death of Piccolo, Yamcha, Tien, Chaozu, only 2 are left, Krillin and Gohan. After some fighting, Nappa decides there's only one way, he's gonna end it right now. He's gonna stomp over Gohan and kill him instantly, until Gohan disappears. He turns around to see where he had went, only to be met by a warrior with a red aura. Nappa demands he turns around, to which he does. Ha, guess I forgot to turn this off, but I don't think I'm gonna need it for this fight. Goku powers back down to his base form. Nappa angrily takes a swing at Goku, to which he's met with a dodge and a punch back. Nappa's out cold after that one. Tell me, what was that red aura you just used, Kakarot? Goku turns around and he's met by Vegeta's stare. And are you his friend? Goku tells Vegeta. Friend? To that weakling? Tell me you're joking. That makes me sick. But let's keep talking about that red aura. Perhaps you can show me another example of it. Vegeta squares up. Calm down, let's take this fight somewhere else. Goku hands Krillin and Gohan a Senzu Bean. Eat this, guys, I'll be right back. The two move to a place better suited for fighting. They go blow for blow, almost equal in strength for a good amount of time, until Goku decides he wants to end this quicker, so he activates the Kaioken. There's that red aura I love so much. Why didn't you bring it out sooner, Kakarot? Goku laughs. It's because I wanted to enjoy the fight, Vegeta, but now that I've gotten bored, you're finished. If you've noticed, for a What If about the Kaioken, I haven't been talking about it that much, and that's because, you see, Kaioken mastery is actually debated between a lot of people. So some people think the Kaioken mastery is being able to go Kaioken times 2000 or something crazy like that. But in my eyes, Kaioken mastery, it's mastering the strain on one's body. So in this timeline we're going to be saying, after 5 months of training with King Kai, Goku can go to about Kaioken times 4 without any strain on his body. It doesn't do any damage to his body, and he's pretty good with it. He can be in the form for about 20 minutes before he starts seeing real effects. So with this in mind, the famous heat clash between them doesn't even happen, because once Goku activates Kaioken, he destroys Vegeta. He doesn't kill him or anything like that, but he's beating him badly enough to the point where Vegeta can't even escape on his Saiyan ship anymore. Vegeta's down on the ground. You're finished, Vegeta. Just give up. Damn you! Damn you! Vegeta gets back up and does the only move he can think of, the Galick Gun. This'll finish it. Vegeta flew up with all his speed and starts the motion for the move. So fast, in fact, Goku overreacts and does the Kaioken times 5 just to catch up with him just before he can do the Galick Gun, and he knocks him out cold. This time, Vegeta's finished for sure. A few days after the battle, Vegeta wakes up in the hospital and he's met by Gohan and Krillin, who instantly hurry and call Goku. So you're finally awake, Vegeta. I've been waiting for you. Where am I? You're in a hospital, on Earth. You'll get better here. You're gonna need to be here for at least a few months. With a fight like that, on Frieza's spaceship I'd be healed in about 2 days. Frieza? Who's that? You mean to tell me you're a Saiyan, but you don't know who Frieza is? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. So, who's Frieza? No, you don't understand, Kakarot. He's the most powerful person in the universe. The only reason I wanted to collect the Dragon Balls was to become immortal so I could defeat him. So you're telling me Frieza's more powerful than you? Yes, vastly more powerful. Sounds like it'd be a great fight. You're an idiot, Kakarot. An idiot. Just leave. Goku, as he's leaving, is met by Krillin, who tells Goku of what Nappa and Vegeta were saying right before they killed Piccolo. And they spoke as though there were more Dragon Balls on planet Namek, Piccolo's homeworld. Krillin says if this is correct and we can find out where planet Namek is, we can revive everybody with their Dragon Balls. Krillin even says that he already told Bulma and she was told about Kami's ship and she can fix it up and take a trip to Namek. She also says others can come along if they just take Saiyan spaceships. Goku's getting amazingly pumped up, but that's gonna have to wait for another time. The Namek and Frieza saga are gonna happen in part 2 of What If Goku Mastered the Kaioken. Thanks for watching. We start back on Earth. Bulma's just finished talking to Dr. Briefs about what spaceship they want to use on the journey to Namek. Bulma brings out how she easily fixed up Kami's spaceship, but in this, we're gonna say that Dr. Briefs suggests a bigger spaceship because a Namekian spaceship would be too slow. Bulma reluctantly agrees, angry that she didn't come up with that idea first. After taking the coordinates from Kami's spaceship, is who's going to go on the journey, but Bulma decides to leave it up to Goku. The same group is picked to go to Namek, and there's plenty of debate whether Vegeta should be allowed to go. But Goku decides if it comes down to it, they need Vegeta's fire power. And after Goku convinces Chi-Chi, they're off to planet Namek. And a quick small note, Dr. Briefs built a prison inside of the spaceship just for Vegeta. They didn't give Vegeta a Senzu Bean yet because they're really unsure of what he could do at full power right now. They think he might attack them, so they bring him along just in case. The journey to Namek was about 6 days. So about 1 day into the journey, Goku realizes that training with Gohan and Krillin just isn't going to be enough. Vegeta, after watching Gohan and Krillin fight for a second, "Heh, you call that training? Kakarot, let me out of here so I can show these fools what real training is." You read my mind, Vegeta. Gohan, I want you to fight him, and don't hold anything back. I want to test something. Goku hands Vegeta a Senzu Bean. And a little bit into the fight, Gohan's getting absolutely dominated by Vegeta. Is this really your best? And you have Saiyan blood in you? Come on, start fighting harder. Maybe if you weren't so weak, the Namekian you care about wouldn't have been killed. This turned out to be a huge mistake on Vegeta's part, and Gohan finally gets a solid enough punch on Vegeta. He doesn't win the fight, but it was a good punch. Impressive. Maybe you are a Saiyan, but the rest of your punches were lousy and could use a lot of work. Nappa hits hard. Wait. Nappa. Where is he? Oh yeah, your little friend. Vegeta, I forgot to tell you. We left him on Earth. He's still in the hospital. We thought it'd be better to let him heal up. That weakling didn't deserve to come with us anyway. But anyway, let's get back to training. The journey continues and they eventually land on planet Namek. Now, let's talk about the Kaioken for a little bit. In the original, Goku was able to get his Kaioken from 4 to 20 in just a few days. So, in this one, if we're going to say Goku was able to get his Kaioken from about 5 to 35. Now, with that out the way, let's continue the story. The group does arrive on Namek. At this point, Vegeta can sense power without the Scouter, but he decides to bring the Scouter along, breaking the microphone inside of it, just so we can listen to Frieza's intercoms. Gohan and Krillin suggest they do some exploring of the planet before they get this full journey underway. Gohan and Krillin go on ahead, and they spot a Namekian village. They see a large pink man threatening the villagers, and know it's not right and it needs to be stopped. Goku tells Gohan and Krillin to go on ahead and stop the pink man. Goku wants to see just how much Gohan and Krillin have improved from the training on the spaceship. Gohan and Krillin easily get rid of Dodoria. Dodoria was said to have a power level of about 22,000. So after the training on the spaceship, Gohan and Krillin sit at about 37,000 each respectively. This may seem a little bit high, but even Goku after training in the gravity chamber for about 6 days went up massively, so this is why I chose to give him that power level. Now Goku I want to give a power level of about 125,000. I know this may seem a little bit high, but after getting a bunch of Zenkais from Vegeta training, I think it's very plausible. And Vegeta after the training sits comfortably about 100,000. So yeah, Gohan and Krillin get rid of Frieza soldiers easily. They even meet a Namekian named Dende, who they tell how they've come all the way from Earth and they're here for the Dragon Balls. Dende, trying to help them on their journey, offers to take them to the Guru, who can help. Vegeta and Goku are unsure about what to do right now, so Vegeta suggests They seek other soldiers of Frieza. Goku thinks that's a great idea, but where would we start? Oh, I know exactly who we can start with. Goku tells Gohan and Krillin to go on ahead to Guru's. He needs to go with Vegeta on a special mission. Gohan and Krillin go on ahead, and Vegeta takes Goku on to Zarbon. Vegeta and Goku easily get rid of Zarbon, but don't kill him. They instead ask for information on the Frieza Force and the Dragon Balls. Zarbon, not wanting to die, of course tells them, but he also tells them that they're far too weak to face Frieza, so this information won't help them at all. This angers Vegeta, who instantly kills Zarbon. While this is happening, Dende arrives to the Gurus with Krillin and Gohan. Since there's nobody in this timeline around to stop it, things go smoothly. Krillin and Gohan get their potentials unleashed, and Guru, understanding they're friends and not foes, gives them his Dragon Ball. Well, I guess that settles it. Servant, call the Ginyu Force. Ah ha ha. Ah ha ha. A few hours later, Goku and Vegeta meet back up with Gohan and Krillin. Wow, you guys got stronger. That Guru must be something. Krillin tells Goku how Guru even gave him a Dragon Ball and unleashed their potential. Goku and Krillin keep talking until Vegeta senses 5 power levels coming to Namek. Ha, the Ginyu Force. This is perfect. Vegeta sees an opportunity to test out his new abilities on an actually worthy foe and draw Frieza out. A couple hours pass by and the Ginyu Force has landed. They step out their ships and they're met by Goku and Vegeta. Vegeta, it's been a long time. Who's this other one with you? It has been a long time, Ginyu. And don't worry about that. Worry about me. Don't tell me you're here to fight. You must be crazy if you think you can handle us, let alone me. I beg to differ. This fight goes very quickly. For the most part, Vegeta's winning the fight. They run into some trouble when Captain Ginyu tries to switch bodies with Vegeta, who dodges, and the blast instead hits Goku. Ginyu didn't gravely injure his own body like he did last time. He goes in with the mindset that if worst comes to worst and Vegeta is truly more powerful than Goku, then he can just gravely injure Goku and go back to his body. Like in the main timeline, Ginyu can't fully access Goku's power, so he's easily beaten by Vegeta. Ginyu tries again to switch to Vegeta's body, and Goku, being in a body that's not injured, he instantly gets in front of the blast and he switches back to his body. Pitiful. Vegeta instantly kills Ginyu, and they take Goku back to Frieza's spaceship so he can heal. Frieza's off in the distance looking for them, so they should have enough time to leave Goku here and then go travel somewhere else. Goku in the main timeline was seen to go from about a power level of 100,000 to 1 million. So in this timeline with a power level of 120,000, he goes from that to about 4 million. And this shocks everyone. Vegeta's completely surprised. He thinks this might mean that Goku's become the legendary Super Saiyan. Goku doesn't believe it himself, but he's now very confident that he can defeat Frieza, who's just coming back to the ship. Frieza sensed the power level like Vegeta's at his ship and knew something was wrong. While Vegeta and Goku were talking about Goku's new power, Gohan and Krillin surf the ship and find the Dragon Balls. Frieza comes back enraged and instantly goes to his second form. Frieza takes a swing at Goku, who dodges and takes a swing back. Frieza knows this is no joke, so he powers up to his third form, who's still weaker to Goku by comparison. It's when he goes 100% that Goku starts having trouble. But remember, this is a what if based around what if Goku mastered the Kaioken. So to counteract this, Goku goes a Kaioken that we've never seen before. Kaioken times 35. Krillin, Gohan, and Dende are watching this fight go on, and they decide to summon Purunga now, before things get worse. Their first wish is very crucial. They decide to revive Piccolo so they can get the Dragon Balls on Earth. While Gohan, Krillin, and Dende are wishing, Goku and Frieza are still fighting. Goku defeats Frieza and tells him to stay down. Goku doesn't want to kill Frieza because he's not anger-filled as he was when he turned Super Saiyan. This Frieza, still being very angry, creates a huge ki blast and throws it into Namek's core. This ki blast was so powerful, it's going to destroy Namek in about 10 minutes. Dende tells Krillin that he needs to hurry. And for their second wish, they decide to bring back Tien. And for their third wish, they decide to move everybody on Namek except Goku and Frieza back to Earth. Goku and Frieza continue their fight, and Frieza ends up cutting himself up like he did in the original. Goku again decides to let him go, to which Frieza decides to shoot a massive ki blast at him. And Goku, just like in the original, shouts, "You fool!" and throws a ki blast back at Frieza and kills him for good. The only problem left is that Goku needs to find the ship. He does so, and he's able to get it up off the ground, but that's about it. Goku has no experience flying ships. Goku's not sure about anything. Currently, he's just on a spaceship, going to a random planet about to crash. He has no idea what he's doing. And I think that's a good place to end off our episode. We ended off last video with the Namek Saga. Frieza was defeated with Goku using the Kaioken times 35, and he boarded a spaceship which he didn't know how to fly, and he's preparing to crash onto a random planet. Tien and Piccolo were revived, and the rest of the Z Fighters are on Earth with the Namekians. Things go pretty normal from here. Yamcha and Chaozu are revived, and they try to revive Goku, only to find out that he's still alive. And more surprising that he doesn't want to come back yet. So the Z Fighters do the one thing they can do. Wait for the arrival of Goku, and that's where we're going to be starting today's What If off. Vegeta's grown accustomed to Earth. Some of you may have forgotten about, Nappa the Saiyan, in this time, recovered from the hospital and has been training with Vegeta. Remember, even in the original timeline, when Raditz was killed and Nappa wanted to revive him, but Vegeta disagreed, Nappa still remained very loyal to Vegeta. So especially with all the Z Fighters being more powerful than Nappa at this point, I doubt he'd have much choice. So he'd stay as Vegeta's training partner / ally. And things go well for a few months. Nappa gets significantly more powerful than in the original timeline, gaining himself a new power level of about 125,000 after training with Vegeta, until Frieza arrives. And this is where we meet Trunks. And everybody's surprised when he goes Super Saiyan, since they've never seen the form. The power feels unreal. This Trunks guy might really be more powerful than Goku himself. But anyway, with Trunks here, the fight of Captain Cold and Frieza go exactly the same. And then Goku arrives. He's a lot more powerful in this timeline than he is in the regular timeline in his base form, due to better training partners and stronger Zenkais. But even Goku, with his almost perfect state of Kaioken, decides he still needs Super Saiyan. He sees it as beneficial, as it will take a lot less time to master, and it doesn't harm your body. For those who think this will make the Kaioken obsolete, trust me, it won't. But we'll find out why another time. Trunks is a little bit worried and confused that they don't know or have Super Saiyan. And he's also confused as to who this Nappa guy is. He never saw him in his timeline, but he writes away his worries when he senses that everybody here is very powerful in their base form compared to his timeline. He thinks after some training and maybe teaching some of the other Saiyans how to transform into a Super Saiyan, it should be more than enough to handle the androids. Trunks, after warning them of the imminent threat, leaves, and the Z Fighters begin training for 3 years. During Goku's time on Yardrat, Kaioken mastery was his main priority again. He's broken the limit, and now he can hold it for much longer, and he can do much stronger multipliers. So it's for this reason that he doesn't mind having to put the Kaioken aside and work on Super Saiyan for a second. He goes on to acquire the transformation, and Vegeta, not wanting to work alongside Goku, instead opts to train with Nappa. Nappa's actually developed a lot. After being healed by humans, and humans constantly being nice to him, he realizes humans aren't bad, and his nature changes dramatically from that of a ruthless warrior to more of a kind older man. But training can't last forever. The threat eventually arrives. Goku still fights Android 19, and he's actually able to defeat him this time, just due to him being more powerful in this timeline. But as quickly as he defeats him, he quickly falls to the heart virus, and the Z Fighters are forced to take him home. The only android they have to worry about left is Dr. Gero, Android 20. Vegeta, after not being able to fight Android 19, instead opts to fight Android 20, Dr. Gero. This Vegeta, being far more powerful, does not play around at all, and he pretty much instantly kills Dr. Gero. So Dr. Gero's plan is actually very abruptly stopped of trying to activate Android 17 and 18. Trunks, like in the original, points out that these are not the androids that he faced in his timeline, but instead of sitting around and questioning it, he tells everyone that they need to hurry up and find Dr. Gero's lab and destroy it before anything else can happen. The Z Fighters immediately go off in search of Dr. Gero's lab when suddenly they feel an immense ki spike, and it's a kind of ki that they've never felt before. They quickly head towards it, only to find what appears to be a ransacked laboratory and a large green man. After seeing the Z Fighters, Cell, who he would come to be known as, tries to escape, and he gets close, but Piccolo grabs him just in time, to which Cell replies with a solar flare, which grants him enough time to escape. The Z Fighters are on the clock now. Goku's almost healed. After an intense search, they're led to Dr. Gero's laboratory that's been thoroughly ransacked, just like the last one. But unlike the last one, there's 2 pods in this laboratory. One that's marked 17, one that's marked 18. Both are empty and open, but nothing in that laboratory could prepare them for what they would see next. The atmosphere thickened, and a sense of fear deepened within all of the Z Fighters. As they turned around, I think you didn't hear me the first time. My name is Cell, and I am perfect. Suddenly, the Z Fighters feel another presence come. It's Goku. He's recovered from the illness, and he made his way over to the Z Fighters by way of instant transmission. Even Goku feels the intense difference in strength. So after speaking with Cell for a bit, he begins to understand that Cell just wants a good fight. So he continues with the proposal. He tells Cell he knows he can't beat him right now, but to please just give him a bit more time, and the Z Fighters will be prepared to take him on. This interests Cell a lot. He really wants to entertain the idea, so he comes up with the idea of a tournament. Cell heads off to announce the Cell games to the rest of the world, leaving the Z Fighters in panic mode, until Kami calls them up and tells them to head towards the lookout. Kami was listening in the whole time, and he tells them that they should use the Room of Spirit and Time. Without even thinking twice, Vegeta takes Trunks into the Room of Spirit and Time. While Vegeta and Trunks head in, Kami and Piccolo fuse for the first time. Since Kami knows they're going to need all the power that they can get, the Z Fighters decide that the next two people that are going to go in are Goku and Gohan. And once they're done, Nappa's going to head in with Piccolo. Nappa's had a hard time attaining Super Saiyan, but training with Piccolo should fix that right up. The Z Fighters begin their training, and that's where we're going to end off for today. I'm sorry this part took so much longer to make, and I'm sorry that we're gonna have to end off on such a cliffhanger. We ended off last time with the Z Fighters entering the hyperbolic time chamber. Piccolo entered with Nappa, Goku entered with Gohan, and Vegeta entered with Trunks. This was all to defeat Cell, who had gained his perfection a lot easier this time, thanks to the androids never being activated. But anyway, let's talk about their training in the time chamber. Vegeta and Trunks come out as completely different people. Vegeta over the time skip actually had a training partner, Nappa. He trained with him a lot, so he's actually a lot stronger heading into the time chamber now than in canon. During their stay in the time chamber, the two Saiyans saw glimpses of grade 4, but they could never fully get it down. So for a bit, they're limited to grade 2 and 3, but more prominently grade 2, as grade 3 gives a huge hit to stamina. Next, Goku and Gohan go in. They focus for a bit on getting Gohan to attain Super Saiyan, and he does. He attains it a lot faster than in canon. This is because when Trunks came back from the future and he showed them Super Saiyan, Goku didn't have it yet. So this led to Goku training with Gohan to get Super Saiyan earlier, so they get it a bit faster, and of course they master it. But with the extra time, Goku decides to teach Gohan some extra techniques. Piccolo and Nappa come out very different. Nappa has improved significantly, even going as far to attain Super Saiyan. Piccolo, on the other hand, is a completely different breed. He's actually able to hang with a lot of the Saiyans. Of course, Goku and Gohan are still more powerful, but I put him around the level of Vegeta and Trunks while in grade 2. Nappa is still the weakest, but he's not that far from Piccolo, so he's still technically one of the top Z Fighters in strength. I would still say Gohan comes out as the strongest, but Goku's not far behind. And just like that, the Z Fighters are off to the Cell games. The group finally arrives. Cell, with his cocky attitude, makes a comment saying that he thought they would have fled instead of showing up, but he's glad that they did. Just like in canon, Goku's the first one to fight Cell. This Goku is a lot closer to Cell than in canon, but as he did in the original, after fighting him for a bit, he gives him a Zenzu bean, and he lets Gohan come in for him. Gohan and Cell would have been equal, but Cell received a pretty decent Zenkai boost from the Goku fight, putting him ahead of Gohan. It's not by a lot, but it's enough, and it's noticeable. The two continue fighting for a good while, with Gohan getting more and more angry. Cell, who's just spawned the Cell Juniors, laughs at Gohan's anger, and just to spite him, decides to send off a straight ki blast during their battle, which hits Piccolo and injures him quite a bit. This angers Gohan, who quickly tries to close in on Cell, who dodges and hits him right back. Gohan, while on the ground, looks around at the Z Fighters and sees all the pain and destruction caused by Cell, and he looks back up at Cell, laughing. He looks over to see what Cell is laughing at. In his horror, he only sees two Cell Juniors standing over Piccolo, who's motionless. At this same moment, Cell looked down at Gohan. You shouldn't fear fighting. You shouldn't fear power. You should fear me. Gohan at this point is shaking, not with fear, but with anger. And Gohan would turn this anger into power. And just like that, Gohan would transform into Super Saiyan 2. And it's at this point where the fight becomes a lot easier for Gohan. Cell simply is outclassed and can't compete. After taking care of the Cell Juniors, Cell's next. Goku yells over to Gohan to end the fight, and Gohan immediately starts destroying Cell. After beating him badly for a short while, Gohan starts breathing in and starts charging a Kamehameha. And with one final blast, Cell is gone. The Z Fighters are very happy, to say the least. And with that, peace has returned to Earth. Over the next few days, things go pretty normally. Trunks returns back to his timeline, and the Dragon Balls are used to revive every good person that was killed by Cell. And with that out the way, peace is truly upon Earth. Some noticeable changes during the time skip here is that, well, Goku's still alive. A pretty major change. And it's with this change that Goku actually tries to tell Gohan to keep up with his training, since you see, Goku and Vegeta were actually very interested in that Super Saiyan 2 form that Gohan had showed off. So they keep trying to tell him to keep up with his training and try to train with them actually to help them unlock it. But Gohan's still very busy with high school, so he only does it in his side time. And he's not always training with Goku and Vegeta. On the side, he's training with Goten too. And let's talk about a character that you guys may have forgotten about. Nappa. He's doing very well. After a bit of a celebration at Capsule Corp, he meets Tights, Bulma's older sister, and they actually hit it off. Nappa sees something in her. It's kindness. Something he felt for the first time when he was injured in a coma on Earth all those years ago from a nurse. And over the course of the time skip, they actually end up getting married. Side note, I got this idea from a comment and I loved the idea. I didn't want to forget about Nappa as a character. But let's move on. Things go pretty normal. Gohan takes a pastime of fighting criminals, and he eventually becomes the Great Saiyan Man. It's in this where he finds Videl, who instantly realizes who he is and forces him to join the upcoming tournament. The roster of the tournament is pretty much the same, so yes, Android 18 is there. I believe it's fair enough to say that Android 18 and 17 were revived when the wish was made to revive every good person that was killed by Cell. You can technically say that Cell did kill them, as he forced them to die inside of him. So yeah, 18 is alive, and 17, he's off on his own just like in canon. He goes to his island. But let's get back to the tournament. We're gonna start off with the Piccolo versus Kaioken fight, if you can even call it that. Mainly because that's when things start getting interesting. Piccolo gets extremely scared and forfeits, like normal. And then we have Videl versus Spopovich. Spopovich dominates Videl, which angers Gohan tremendously. But just like in canon, Spopovich stops when ordered to stop, and Gohan rushes over to help Videl. Next we have Gohan versus Capital. Gohan, just like in canon, is talked into using his full power, which since he's kept up with his training, is still at the top of all the Z fighters. He still gets his power drained, and Spopovich still escapes. Everybody starts chasing him, and they eventually get led to Babidi. As the group finally arrives to Babidi's ship, Gohan, Piccolo, Krillin, Goku, and Vegeta all watch as Dabura reveals himself for the very first time. And just like in canon, as he does this, he immediately goes and kills Kibito Kai. Dabura completely surprised them with how fast he moved towards the group. And just as he finishes doing this, he quickly turns Piccolo and Krillin into stone. And for a bit, things go just like how they did in the original story. Dabura leads them to Babidi's ship, and they go through 2 floors of enemies, when they're eventually made to finally fight Dabura. Goku and Vegeta handle the last 2 enemies, so it's only fair that Gohan gets to handle this last one, Dabura himself. After sizing up Dabura for a bit, he makes a comment saying Dabura's power feels almost similar to somebody he's faced before. He looks to Dabura once more and takes just a second to pause. He closes his eyes and for just a moment breathes in. He opens his eyes and just for a second he sees Cell laughing. Gohan laughs this off and becomes overly cocky for a moment and makes quick work of Dabura, killing him before he can even escape. What Gohan just did was similar to meditation training. He forced this image of Dabura to be Cell inside of his head as their powers were so close together, making it 10 times easier for him to dispatch a Dabura. After all these years, Gohan still hasn't moved on from the fight that was Cell. After killing him, Goku notices something. Piccolo and Krillin are back. They're freed from the stone that Dabura put them in. And with this comes something else. After seeing Dabura being defeated, Babidi immediately starts panicking. As Babidi was extremely confident in his men, he never did check how much power Gohan was able to generate for the revival of Majin Buu. In the manga, it said that Canon Gohan gave him about half the power they needed. So with this, Gohan is far more powerful than in canon. This gives Babidi as much, if not more than what he needed for the original Majin Buu. So with this, as Gohan is far more powerful than in canon, this gives Babidi all the power he needs, if not more. So with the revival of Majin Buu underway, Babidi is far more confident. And as we head back into the Z Fighters, suddenly they feel a massive ki spike. This, as we know, would become Majin Buu. After the 3 Saiyans head there, they quickly transform and start attacking Majin Buu, who would still be completely brushing them off. Remember, at this point, Fat Buu is still basically a child. As Buu's practically brushing them off, he gets incredibly hungry after dodging for so long, and he knows exactly what he wants. Chocolate. And he starts to hit them with the chocolate beam, or tries to at least. Not knowing of the attack beforehand, he hits Goku with the chocolate beam, just barely landing onto him. And much like Dabura in canon, instead of absorbing him, he simply eats him, killing Goku almost instantly. This leaves Gohan in a state of shock, but Vegeta quickly tells him to snap out of it, as there's no time for that. The fate of the world is really at their hands, and the 2 continue their assaults on Majin Buu, who's getting more and more angry that these 2 Saiyans keep attacking him. This would lead into something later, but that's for later. From far away, behind a rock, the other group is still watching, the Kais, Krillin, and Gohan. As they're watching, they notice something. 2 new power levels are coming, and it turns out to be Goten and Trunks. The 2 head towards Piccolo and Krillin and see what's going on, with Vegeta not doing so well in the fight against Majin Buu with Gohan. Seeing this, they immediately want to join in on the fight. but Piccolo's doing his best to hold them back. Trunks and Goten are angry knowing that they can't do anything. The Supreme Kai watching all this gets an idea. At first he asks Goten and Trunks, since they want to help so badly, if they think they can cause a distraction, just to get in the middle of the fight, but Piccolo shuts that idea down quickly, him saying that they shouldn't be getting involved in the fight. Just before the Kai can explain what he needs this for, Krillin steps up and asks how long do they need this distraction for. The Kai tells him for just a moment, and Krillin takes a second, and he thinks of how in his prime, when he was younger and went to college, he was the Division 1 rock thrower, and it said that he could throw a rock over 2 kilometers. He grabs the nearest rock and tells the Kai as soon as this hits Buu to do what he needs to do. This of course is a joke, but the same thing still happens. They cause a distraction, and the distraction surprises Buu so much, he doesn't even get angry, he kinda just stands there in shock that someone would do something like that to Majin Buu. But after being in shock for a bit, he suddenly gets really angry that anybody would even try to do that to the great Majin Buu. But the moment that Buu was caught off guard, the Supreme Kai, using his Kai ability, slips in between the battle and takes whoever was closest to Majin Buu and disappears with them. This of course would be Gohan, and he takes him to the land of the Kaioshins. Originally he was resilient to wanting to move immortal there, but after seeing just how scary Majin Buu is, he quickly realizes there's no time to waste. The Kai quickly explains of the Z-Sword, and whoever unlocks it will be able to gain tremendous power. Hearing this, Gohan quickly understands as to why he was brought here, and as the Kai takes him to the Z-Sword, he quickly takes it out of his hole, not even needing to go Super Saiyan this time, just because he's stronger. But with him taking out the sword, let's get back to Earth for just a second. So we left off with Vegeta facing Majin Buu single-handedly this time, with Gohan gone it's a 1v1, and Trunks and Goten are still dying to get in. Trunks specifically just wants to help his father. Piccolo, seeing truly no other option and not being worried about Babidi anymore, as he was killed by a simple stray ki blast, and the Supreme Kai is gone, he asks Krillin if he has any senzu, and Krillin says yes, he has just 3. Piccolo tells the boys to only provide ki blast support, don't fully engage unless Piccolo tells them to. The two agree, finally happy that they can do something in this big battle. Piccolo then tells Krillin the game plan. After Majin Buu is distracted, give Vegeta one of the senzu beans, the moment he gets an opportunity. After Piccolo pretty much plays cat and mouse with Majin Buu, Goten and Trunks join in for a bit, Trunks even calling Majin Buu an idiot during their fight. This angered Buu, who paused for a moment, smoke fuming out of his ears. Piccolo thought this was doing good, so he egged the boys on, and told Goten to join in too. With this, Goten and Trunks start a parade of childish insults, angering the also very childish Majin Buu, to the point where eventually smoke stops coming out of Majin Buu's ears, and Majin Buu actually spits something out, and what he spit out would actually turn into the Grey Buu, the Evil Buu, and just like in canon, the Evil Buu quickly eats Fat Buu and starts his transformation. In this transformation, the group finds a lot of time and hands Vegeta a senzu bean. Vegeta, finally back on his feet, is angered as soon as he sees Goten and Trunks there. As Majin Buu is still transforming, he tells Piccolo to take them as far from here as he possibly can. Goten and Trunks both say they want to let him do that and say that they want to stay and fight. Vegeta looks at Trunks one more time, making a comment, asking if he's even hugged him once in his life, just like in canon. Trunks is silent, and Vegeta gives him one last hug. In the embrace of his father, Trunks feels true happiness, before, as we all know, being knocked out by Vegeta. Goten would follow in suit. Vegeta once again tells Piccolo to go, and he's not going to ask again. Piccolo grabs the two and asks what Vegeta intends to do. Vegeta smiles at Piccolo, and immediately the pressure in the air thickened. Piccolo had never felt a power like this, from Vegeta especially. It was as though Piccolo could feel Vegeta's animosity in the air. Piccolo grabbed the two and left with Krillin to Kami's lookout, getting one last look at Vegeta. Vegeta in this instance knew what he had to do. He was a bit nervous to even look back at Piccolo, who was holding Trunks. He laughed at this in his head, as he thought to himself, the Saiyan Prince, too scared to look at his own son. What a joke. And just as Super Buu was born, Vegeta, with one huge stroke of power, self-destructed, killing himself, and presumably Buu, but we all know Buu wouldn't die there. Entering Kami's lookout, we see a frantic Piccolo, who tries his best to break down the situation to Dende, who tells Piccolo he already knows. He then tells him that with Goku's death, he's contacted King Yama, and asked for a deal to be made. Dende tried to explain the threat of Majin Buu to Yama, but Yama already knew of this. Having been in a similar situation before, Yama tells Dende he will make an exception, but only this once. For a full day, Goku will be allowed back to Earth, and if required, he's willing to give him a bit more time. as Majin Buu is a threat like no other. It'll take a bit of time, but Goku should be in Kami's lookout. Soon, at least. This leaves Piccolo scared, but patient in the arrival for Goku. We leave Piccolo for a bit, and we enter Goku, who's in Otherworld. He's just gotten word from King Yama that he will be allowed to go back to Earth for a bit, when suddenly, as he's just about to go back to Earth, he senses Gohan's ki. Using instant transmission, he heads over to Gohan with ease. Gohan, surprised at seeing Goku, gets excited, but Goku quickly asks what he's doing here and where's Majin Buu. The Supreme Kai quickly breaks down what's happened, and after hearing about the Z-Sword, he asks the Supreme Kai if he could test it. He wants to see if all the hype is real. The Kai agrees and summons some Kachin metal, the hardest metal in the universe. And after Gohan readies the sword, they throw the metal at the Z-Sword, and it breaks instantly. The Supreme Kai especially is extremely shocked. As he's about to complain, the old man shows up behind him, the Elder Kai. After explaining who he is, he asks about who the one that broke the Z-Sword is. Everyone gestures to Gohan, and like in the original, he asks if Gohan would like to have his power awakened, and he starts the ritual. Quickly into the ritual, after Goku finds out just how long this will take, he tells Gohan good luck, but he needs to see how things are on Earth. Before he can go, the Elder Kai tells him to stop. He then commands Kibito Kai to hand him 2 Patara earrings. He then explains what they're used for and how they work. He tells Goku if times are really rough, to use these. It may just save him. Goku takes it, accepting it quickly. Using instant transmission, he finally says goodbye to the Kais and to Gohan, and tells Gohan to be there as soon as he can. Goten, who's awakened from being knocked out, is extremely happy to see Goku, but quickly he asks what's the halo thing around his head. Remember, this Goku's relationship with Goten is much better, as he never died. He tells him he'd rather not explain the halo right now, but he's also very happy to see him. Looking down at Goten and Trunks, Goku gets an idea. Something that was laying in his mind for years, but he never really tried it, or even thought about it. You see, during this time skip, Goku always kept his training up as always, visiting King Kai often, but one day, during his visit with King Kai introduced Goku to someone who taught him a technique. He forgets the name of the person, but he remembers the guy was called the Metamoran or something. The important part of this story is that he was taught a technique, the fusion dance. And looking at Goten and Trunks, their power is kind of similar. He remembers one of the rules of the fusion dance is you have to be similar in power, and Goten and Trunks aren't far apart from one another. After discussing the idea with Piccolo, and also telling Piccolo of what happened with Gohan, they decide as Gohan is gonna need at least 5 hours, this may be their chance to get this finished quickly, before Buu can cause any more harm. Just as they're talking, they feel a huge strength thicken out the atmosphere. Super Buu's regeneration from the final explosion has finished. And the two having felt his ki, they can tell he's even more powerful. There's surely no other options. So this pushes Goku to talk to Goten and Trunks and tell him about the fusion dance. Even using Piccolo as an example, and with relative ease, the two get it down quickly. But like in the original, the pair mess up at first, causing their failed fusion form. With this, it gives enough time for Super Buu to eventually make his way to Kami's lookout after regenerating. But before Buu can act and attack Piccolo and Goku, Goku tells him if just given a short amount of time, there will be plenty of fun to be had. As somebody who will be able to handle Buu will give him the battle of a lifetime. Buu quickly shuts down the idea and says it's now or never. Piccolo starts talking, saying that he guesses it's never. He even makes a comment, and knowing Majin Buu's old childish form, he says maybe Majin Buu's just a bit too scared. Majin Buu quickly proclaims that he's not scared, but this would fall on deaf ears from Goku and Piccolo, who keep just telling Majin Buu he's scared. Super Buu gets more angry and after this, they come to an agreement. Just 1 hour. Krillin, seeing this, gets Goten and Trunks into the time chamber, hoping that this is enough time. After their hour is up, Piccolo takes the irritated Buu to the time chamber. Buu is met by Goten and Trunks, who proclaim they've been waiting for him, and quickly they do the fusion dance in front of Super Buu, and even taunt him a bit. This provokes Buu, and they quickly start their battle. Gotenks, like in canon, eventually charges up, and for the first time in this What If, we see a Super Saiyan 3. Piccolo still feels inclined to destroy the door to the time chamber, which leads to Super Buu creating a portal by yelling and escaping quickly, and eventually Gotenks would do the same thing. Gotenks and Buu continue their fight outside at Kami's lookout, with the two being relatively close in power, almost equals. It's truly a match of the century. Goku, who transported back to Kai's world for a moment, after teaching the boys the fusion dance, asks when Gohan will be ready, and the Elder Kai tells him he's been ready. He just wanted to make the whole thing much more dramatic. Once Gohan arrives with Goku, Gohan quickly splits the battle between Gotenks and Buu. Piccolo telling Gotenks to back away. Piccolo then tells Gohan to not hold back, he needs to kill Majin Buu. He can't make the same mistake he made with Cell. Gohan closes his eyes for a bit, and he remembers what he saw all those years ago at the Cell games. The Cell Jr. standing over Piccolo's motionless body, the incident that caused him to go Super Saiyan 2 all those years ago. He knows he can't afford to hold back, and he gives Majin Buu everything he has, even pushing Majin Buu to the brink of self-destruction. Knowing what Buu's about to do, he takes Gotenks, who's defused now, down to Goten and Trunks, with Piccolo too. Goku making a comment that he grabbed him faster than he could. Goku doesn't say it out loud just yet, but he's truly proud of all the progress Gohan has made. Eventually unsuspected, this leads us into the absorption of Gohan, Piccolo, and Goten and Trunks. He didn't go for Goku first as he saw Gohan as far more of a threat, and this gives Goku just enough time to set another key signature. Vegeta. King Yama also allowed him back due to the threat of destruction. This leads us to eventually Goku hurriedly handing Vegeta a Patara earring that he got from Elder Kai when he was in the land of the Kais. Vegeta, although discouraged at first, eventually agrees. And the two transform into Vegeta, who this time has a halo. As Goku and Vegeta are both dead, Vegeta wastes no time in going Super Saiyan, or Super Vegito, and this leads us to the Buu fight, which also leads us to Vegito getting absorbed on purpose to get everybody out of there. The hardest choice is probably getting Majin Buu out of there, but ultimately they decide to get Majin Buu out of Super Buu, assuming that it would make Buu less strong, but they couldn't be more wrong. Eventually, as Vegeta and Goku are trying to flee, they see someone off in the distance. It's Mr. Satan. He was just coming due to his match with Majin Buu that he was gonna have as the true champion of the earth. Goku sees him and quickly goes to grab him. While having everyone in their arms, Kid Buu is eventually born. And with Kid Buu being born, just like in the original, he immediately tries to destroy the planet. But before he can destroy the planet fully, the Kai who still becomes Kabito Kai, using his Kai ability, gets Goku and Vegeta out of there before it's too late. Kid Buu, seeing this ability, is able to instantly copy it, making his way to the land of Kais very quickly. Everyone is extremely surprised. Vegeta looks to Goku, who's already smiling, and proclaims they'll end it here as they both look at Majin Buu. In canon, they decided to not fuse, and decide who would face Kid Buu with a game of rock, paper, scissors. And it's not different here. Goku quickly decides that he should go all out, since it is the fate of the universe they're dealing with, and he charges up to Super Saiyan 3. But suddenly he gets an idea. When training years ago during the time skip, he tried something, stacking Kaioken onto Super Saiyan. But Goku's no fool. A power like that shouldn't be used for long, even if he did master Kaioken all those years ago. His body couldn't hold on to something for more than a few seconds, but this idea stems from the fact that Super Saiyan 3 gave Goku a noticeable increase in stamina, letting him hold on to the form for much longer. Using this way of thinking, Goku paused for a bit in the Super Saiyan 3 form. Vegeta, wondering what he's doing, yells over at Goku to stop messing around. Vegeta takes this second to tell Kabito Kai to tell the Namekians to gather up the Dragon Balls. Kabito at first asks why, but then he just tells them to do it, so they won't have to do it later. He tells them with the first wish to bring back Earth, and for the second wish to bring back every good person that was killed by Majin Buu. And for the third wish, but before he can finish, he's cut off suddenly. The atmosphere changes immensely as Goku, during the battle with Kid Buu for the first time in years, activates the Kaioken, only being able to go up to a multiplier of 4. As he's dead, he's able to hold on to this form for much longer, with the stamina buff that being dead gives you. Even though it's only a ×4 multiplier, it still does something amazing for Goku. It's just the way it works. Even Saiyan bodies can't handle so much strain. So while he was still dead and fighting, he was gonna make the most of it. Vegeta laughed, giving his speech like he usually did about Goku. The use of Kaioken took Vegeta all the way back to when they first met all those years ago. He remembers when Goku first used Kaioken on Nappa, to when Goku used it on Frieza. Vegeta smiles and proclaims Goku to be a champion. As this is all happening, Dende, who made his way to planet Namek just before the explosion, is having a bit of a reunion with the Namekians. With the Dragon Balls collected, Vegeta is eventually told that the Earth and its people are back, but there's still one more wish. If needed, as Goku eventually powers back down to his base form, Vegeta tags in and tells Goku the Earth and its people are back, and he's gonna give him all the time he needs to charge it. At first, Goku doesn't know what he's talking about, but he quickly catches on, telling Vegeta he's a genius, but it's gonna take a minute, and Goku asks if he's sure he can stall that long. Vegeta tells him to just do it, and Goku flies up high and starts to charge it, the Spirit Bomb. Although in this story, this is the first time we would be seeing the Spirit Bomb. As in my original part 1 of this What If, I stated Goku decided to not learn the Spirit Bomb, and he instead took that time to master the Kaioken. But in the 7-year time skip, it's more than likely that King Kai would teach Goku that one trick that he never had the time to learn all those years ago. And with this, Goku starts charging the Spirit Bomb, pleading with the people of Earth. And it's with this that Hercule finally becomes relevant. He doesn't understand the situation much, but he does understand that Buu needs to be defeated. And if the people of Earth aren't listening, he knows someone they will listen to. Hercule convinces the people of Earth that he's the one fighting Buu, and to give him energy, their energy. Goku doesn't know what to say. He's truly grateful to Hercule, even if he is taking the credit, and very quickly, the Spirit Bomb is close to completion. Goku tells Vegeta to back up, which he can't. Vegeta says to just throw it, but Goku refuses. Kibito tells Goku to throw it, and it'll be alright. Goku looks at his face, and can tell he's telling the truth. And he throws the Spirit Bomb while Vegeta's still there. Just before it touches Buu or Vegeta, Kibito Kai transports to Vegeta, using Kai Kai and taking him away with just enough time. This making the Spirit Bomb land almost instantly. Then, well, we all know how it goes then.
あれじゃねえかサタン、おめえは本当に世界の救世主かもな。計算が違った。肝心のカカロットの体力が足りん。そんな、どうすれば。いつまで待たせるつもりだ。最後の願いは必要ないのか。そうだ、ポルンガさん。悟空って人の体力を元に戻してあげることってできる？可能だ。よかった。すぐにお願いします。プピリッとパロー。もうダメだ。悟空さん、3つ目の願いで悟空さんの気が元に戻ったでしょ。やっと終わった。やれやれ、手間取りやがって。嬉しそうな顔しやがって、ほんとムカつく野郎だ。ふん。
With the defeat of Majin Buu, the Z Fighters are finally at peace, Goku giving one last thumbs up to Vegeta. The two were revived with the first wish, so for now, everything is alright. Honestly, I really don't know what to say. Phew, don't worry, past me, you don't have to say anything. So yeah, what do you guys think? That was the full series of What If Goku Mastered Kaioken. As I said, this is only season 1, so there could be Super. I really think I am going to do Super, honestly. And maybe even GT, but who knows. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. And don't worry, this is just to hold off for a bit, as I'm working on What If Beerus Woke Up Early Part 3. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys can tell that I did get better at writing, like, throughout the process of these videos. This What If truly means a lot to me, so hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you guys later.